Are we live? Wait a second. Wait a second. Are we live right now? Whoa, 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 whoa. Are we live right now? Wait. Is it May 30th? Is it my birthday? What's up, guys? It's Mike, a guy who loves Star Wars. All right, we got a lot to talk about today. But first things first, it is my birthday. Okay? Let's get that out of the way. I'm 21 now. I know. I'm officially old. Okay? But with that being said, we're still going to talk about Star Wars today. We're still going to go nerdy and young about Star Wars. Okay, so we got a lot to talk about. Of course, regarding the Kenobi show, with the possibility of there being a second season. Will we ever see a second season? We got to talk about that. We also have to talk about, wait, what's going on here? Are we good? Oh, I think we're good. We're good. What's going on here? Why are we not? Oh, we're good. We're good. Okay. Also, we got to talk about the Skeleton Crew. We got some announcements about the Skeleton Crew show, which, again, it seems like we still have no idea anything about what's going on with that show. And there was some breaking news as of a few hours ago about the Mandalorian season 3 and the character of Axe Wolves specifically, and what's going on with his character and what actually is going down. Honey Badger, what is up? Thank you very much for the happy birthday wishes. But let's start out with how you doing today, Honey Badger? How are we doing today? Let's start out with Kenobi season 2. More Vader and Kenobi. See, I don't know. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it as a community tonight. We're gonna see what the consensus is around the fandom, if this should happen or not, or what is actually going on with the Kenobi show. Is there going to be a second season? We have multiple reports over multiple months of different people saying different things and all this other crazy stuff. So we're going to get into all of it. I have a few articles pulled up, and we're going to start from the beginning and go on from there. So first off, let's talk about what you guys want from Kenobi season 2, if there is going to be one. First of all, let's start off here. Do you want a season 2 of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show? Let's actually pull that up, and we'll leave it up for the remainder of this stream. Do you want Kenobi season 2? Yes or no? You guys tell me. What do we think here as a community? Logan, what's up, Logan? Happy birthday, man. Yeah, thank you, Logan. Thank you. Logan, how old do you think I am? How old do you think I turned today, Logan? And don't try to be nice. Shoot it to me straight, Logan. Shoot it to me straight. Honey Badger says, great. I just saw The Little Mermaid with my family. It honestly is better than the original. There's no way. The original animated one? Maybe. I already saw the fish, though, so it can't possibly be. Logan says, no idea. 20. You're close, Logan. I turned 21 today. 21. I'm officially old. I'm officially in the last phase of my life. I legally am able to do everything except for run for president, which I plan on doing when I turn, 35? You guys would vote for me for president, right? You guys would vote for me for president, right? Right? Honey Badger says, yes, I want Kenobi season 2, only for Vader. Well, here's the thing. If that was the rematch of the century in season 1, if that was what Vader was talking about when he says, I haven't sensed this sense, and he walks away, or when he says at the end of A New Hope, the last time we met, blah, blah, blah. If all of that is referring to their rematch of the century, then Kenobi season 2 wouldn't even involve Vader. Maybe it could, but they don't ever interact, but that wouldn't make any sense. Why not just make a Vader show at that point? I feel like a Kenobi season 2 would just be following Kenobi in his trainings with the Force. Now, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Maybe you get some flashbacks of the Clone Wars. Maybe you get some cool scenes of him learning to become a Force ghost, explaining what becoming a Force ghost is like and all that other stuff. I don't know. It would be very, very cool to see a season 2, but they would have to give us something to look forward to. Like the Vader versus Obi-Wan rematch of the century, there needs to be that thing. And as of right now, there is not. If it's going to be a Reva season 2, nobody's going to want it. Nobody. So we'll talk about we'll get into some articles here. Honey Badger says, no, seriously, Flounder and Sebastian were great. The trailer didn't do it justice. It's 100% better than the original. Movie was visually stunning. Best live-action Disney movie in a long time. Better than The Lion King? I don't know. Like, The Lion King, I think, is the only live-action interpretation of any of these movies I've actually watched. So, like, why are you making live-action? Like, are you really that out of ideas, Disney? You can't come up with an original thought? They really just try to money grab with the let's take everything that we succeeded with in the past in animation, let's put it into live action, you know? Honey Badger says, I want to see an actual rematch of the century instead of what we got. You didn't think that was a good rematch? I thought it was pretty epic. I mean, of the Kenobi show, which was about a year ago now, that finale was awesome. I mean, it carried the entire show. It was awesome. You got the whole Kenobi slices half of his mask off, and you get the crazy performance from Hayden Christensen. That finale was amazing. The rematch of the century was exactly what we wanted. I believe, at least. I think that's exactly what the fan base wanted. Now, it should have been a movie. It should have cut Reva entirely. It should have been 2 hours, a movie, bing, bang, boom. Would have made billions of dollars if it was released into theaters with Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen and all that jazz. Would have made billions of dollars. Instead, they put it on Disney Plus. It didn't get as many views as they wanted to. They focused too much on Reva. The first few episodes were kind of useless until they finally got into the good stuff in the last 2 episodes with the flashbacks of Anakin and Obi-Wan, the rematch of the century. That's really what people were there to see. It didn't need to be 6 episodes all an hour. It just needed to be 2 hours, a movie that would have made billions of dollars. And yeah, exactly. Honey Badger says, and yes, way better than The Lion King. This movie was awesome. Halle Bailey, is that her name? Halle Bailey was a perfect Ariel. Melissa McCarthy was an amazing Ursula. Cool. He follows up and says, yeah, the fight was amazing, don't get me wrong, but definitely no rematch of the century. It was too short, and nowhere near the fight on Mustafar could have been better. It definitely could have been better. It was definitely not better than the Anakin vs. Obi-Wan on Mustafar, definitely not even close. But it is hard to top that in a time period where Obi-Wan and Vader aren't supposed to ever see each other. It is hard to top the greatest lightsaber duel in history in all of Star Wars, which was, of course, Anakin and Obi-Wan on Mustafar, in a time period where they're not even supposed to meet. So I thought it was as good as we'll get, you know? Logan chimes in and says, have you heard of the Children of the Watch podcast? Far-fetched, but they speculated that second Kenobi season could be an underground system for rescuing Jedi Force-sensitive kids. I think I've heard of that podcast. I've never listened to it before, but there's a ton of Star Wars podcasts out there, but this one is obviously the best. I wouldn't even consider myself a podcast, but this is the best. No, I'm just kidding. That is a cool kind of thought. If a season 2 of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show was him maybe helping out with the underground system, the what do they call it? The what's it called? It was just in Jedi Survivor too. I forget what they call it, but yeah, with them Obi-Wan maybe trying to help the rebels save Force sensitives. Maybe Grogu comes through there. Maybe Cal Kestis is helping out. Maybe then you could get a live-action Cal Kestis in a season 2 of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, because Jedi Survivor and the Obi-Wan Kenobi show are supposed to take place around the same time period. That would kind of be cool. If Cal Kestis was involved in a season 2 of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, count me in. Absolutely count me in. You know? Honey Badger says, Kenobi Season 2 should be Vader and his Inquisitors looking for Obi-Wan and Obi-Wan on the run. No Leia, no Reva, Vader hunting Obi-Wan. We left Vader sitting on his throne. We need him to find Obi-Wan. Yeah, but if he finds Obi-Wan, he's going to kill Obi-Wan. That's the thing. He can't find Obi-Wan again until A New Hope. Obi-Wan needs to be hidden on Tatooine, and Tatooine needs to be a place where he can stay hidden. It can't be Obi-Wan gets run off of Tatooine. That can't happen. He has to stay there until A New Hope, watch over Luke. Those things need to happen now. And that's how at least the end of season 1 gave me the feeling that Obi-Wan was done leaving this planet. He was going to protect Luke from now on. Uncle Owen even allowed him to say hi to him, and now he's going to train to become a Force ghost. If somehow, even staying on Tatooine, he could help out the rebellion with the what is it called? What is the thing called in Jedi Survivor and in the Kenobi show, where they smuggle the Force-sensitive people? What is it called? It has a name. I forget. I just can't think of it for the life of me. But yeah, that would be very, very cool if Obi-Wan somehow staying on Tatooine was involved in helping out other Jedi. He even mentions Quinlan Vos in the first season. He knows who these Jedi are. These Jedi know who he is. So if Obi-Wan was somehow integral in saving Grogu or worked with Cal Kestis in helping other Force sensitives live, what if even Jude Law's character, who's going to be introduced in the Skeleton Crew show, and we'll talk about the Skeleton Crew in a little bit here, but what if Jude Law's character, who's supposed to be a Jedi who survived Order 66, is involved in that? What if he, a younger version of his character, comes through this place? What is it called? Somebody please help me out. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. What if he is somebody who goes through that too? So that would be also very, very cool. You can connect all these new Jedi and new characters that Disney has brought in. And I know a lot of people are like, no more Jedi who survived Order 66. It makes it less important. There was tens of thousands of Jedi. How is Palpatine supposed to wipe them all out? Sure, he wiped out tens of thousands, but there's still a handful left. It's not just Obi-Wan and Yoda. There's Cal Kestis. There's Quinlan Vos. There's the guy who shows up in Kenobi, blanking on his name, like first episode, whatever his name was. You have Jude Law's character now. You have a bunch of Inquisitors who technically were Jedi who survived, but turned into Inquisitors. There's plenty of people who survived Order 66. Grogu, even. You know? Where was I? Logan says, yeah, I would love just to see that. Oh, I mean, it's hard to do just that. Just this underground system of saving Force users. Obi-Wan can't leave Tatooine. So how are you going to make a whole show called the Obi-Wan Kenobi show and kind of just like barely involve Obi-Wan Kenobi? That's kind of where I'm at a loss here. This is kind of where I'm like, this show maybe shouldn't exist. Honey Badger says he's obsessed with him and maybe he will, he's talking about Vader. Vader's obsessed with Obi-Wan and maybe he will get another fight and it will be better than the last. Needs to be a bookend to Kenobi versus Vader. Well, the bookend is Obi-Wan sacrifices himself to save Luke. And that's A New Hope. With them both leaving the fight extremely battered and bruised. Well, that's kind of how the first one ended. I mean, Obi-Wan wasn't really all that battered or bruised, but he was buried alive. And, of course, Anakin was pretty battered and bruised because he sliced his mask and punched him in the chest a few times, so he was getting that weird breathing, you know? Needs to be a dog chase like episode 8. No. But it has to be Vader. Yeah, Vader on the cusp of getting Obi-Wan Kenobi. But he gets away, and Vader and Obi-Wan need one more fight, and it's so bad that Vader retreats. And Obi-Wan escapes again, and they don't meet until episode 4. Yeah, but then you're just having the same outcome happen again in a season 2. Obi-Wan escapes again. Vader gets messed up so much that he can't chase Obi-Wan anymore. You're just kind of repeating what just happened in season 1, you know? I feel like season 1 left off in such a way that it was good enough. That's where it should have ended. We don't need more of Obi-Wan Kenobi's story. We don't need to see him train to become a Force Ghost. Although it would be very, very cool, it doesn't warrant a whole 6 more episodes of this show. Because they'll just try to fill it in with goobly glob nonsense that we won't like. You know? Honey Badger follows up and says maybe Cal even steps in and distracts Vader and Obi-Wan can escape. And Cal even meets his demise and falls to Vader. And that's where Cal's story ends. And maybe the next game leads into that. Well, then Cal Kestis dies and we don't get to see Cal post original trilogy. We don't get to see him in The Mandalorian. We don't get to see him in Dave Filoni's movie. We don't get to see him post sequel trilogy. Cal Kestis' story just ends right there. He did all that fighting and all that cool stuff just to die there. I don't know, Badger. I don't agree. I don't think that's a good story end for Cal Kestis. Dying to Vader to save Obi-Wan? I don't think so. I don't think so. Jonathan, what's up? Jonathan says, happy birthday. Thank you, man. Thank you. If you're just coming in, don't forget to vote on that poll. Do you want to see season 2 of Kenobi? All right, let's read some of these articles. So we're going to go back as far as I could find originally, at least. This article we're going to start with is from, when was this from? I think this one is probably the earliest one. Wait, what was the date of this? This was, oh wait, that says updated 4 hours ago. So was this article just updated? All right, we'll get into that one last then. So this is from April 10th, okay? Let's pull this up. Let's pull it up. All right, so this is from April 10th. Why is this being annoying? Stop being annoying. Stop being annoying. Oh, wait, whoa. Okay, we're good. Okay, there we go. So, the Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2 update is bad news for Star Wars fans. So, well, that kind of depends on what kind of Star Wars fan you are and if you want one or not. So, of course, this is from their first rematch right before Obi-Wan gets dragged into the flames. Is that big enough font? Should we zoom in maybe one more time? Oh, well, that didn't work. We're going to, actually, maybe I'm just going to do that and then drag this over. Does that work? Oop. Sure, that works. Sure, it works. Perfect. That's great. That's great. All right, let's do it. Well, Lucasfilm may be hitting light speed with 3 new Star Wars movies and several more TV shows. There is one show that, at least for the moment, will be left behind. Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy, now remember, this is from April 10th, so there has been a lot that has happened since then in just the last month and a half. And we're going to get into a different article after this that will get into that as well. So, Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy has confirmed that the second season of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, starring Ewan McGregor, won't be in the works anytime soon. It is not in development, Kathleen revealed to Vanity during Star Wars Celebration Europe of 2023. But I never say never, because there is always the possibility that show was so well received and director Deborah Chow did such a spectacular job. Ewan McGregor really wants to do another. Everybody's all hands on deck with what we're doing right now, as you can see. But we showed everybody at Star Wars Celebration. We'll turn our attention to that again, maybe sometime down the road. So she is not putting it out of the realm of possibility that there could be a season 2, but she is saying that as of right now, there is nothing in active development, not a single thing. So, well, it's clear Obi-Wan Kenobi season 2 isn't a priority, is not a priority for Kathleen Kennedy and her very busy studio at the moment. This doesn't sound like it's a complete closing of the door either. After all, it took 17 years since Revenge of the Sith for Ewan McGregor to finally reprise the role for the first time around. And we know the actor is down for more. Yes, Ewan McGregor has said on multiple occasions himself that he would love to come back and play for a second season. So this is what Ewan McGregor says. Would I like to make another one? McGregor told EW last year. Yeah, I would like to make another one. A few weeks later, McGregor echoed this sentiment in an interview with GQ. I really hope we do another season. If I could do one of these every now and again, I'd be happy about it. But that's the thing. If Ewan McGregor wants to come back, he is Obi-Wan. He wants to come back and play Obi-Wan. You can put him in other shows, other projects, maybe even in the Mandoverse via flashbacks, via Force Ghost, whatever you want to do, he could still be involved. If you have Luke Skywalker, you could have Force Ghost Obi-Wan, because we've seen all their interactions through the original trilogy, via Force Ghost, via actual Obi-Wan, and Ewan McGregor can be the one who comes back to play that role. Ewan McGregor, of course, is Obi-Wan Kenobi, just as much, if not more, than Alec Guinness is. So he wants to come back and do one of these every once in a while, he doesn't have to come back and do a season every once in a while. He can come back and do a cameo. He can come back and do a small role here or there in a show, like maybe Andor season 2, if they want to actually do something cool that will get more people to watch their show. Maybe put in Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan, you know? The question would be where Obi-Wan could go next. At this point in the timeline, when the series is set about a decade before the events of A New Hope, old Ben is supposed to be in exile on Tatooine, watching over Luke. We saw what one detour from the mission almost cost, with Reva hunting down the future Jedi Master and his family and almost killing the boy. Would Obi-Wan risk it all again for another mission into space? The quest and the story would really need to matter. That's the thing. Obi-Wan was still very, very hesitant to leave Tatooine, to leave Luke at the beginning of the show, to go save Leia, who is of course, sibling of Luke. So it would have to be something insane, absolutely insane, to get Obi-Wan off the planet again. So Kathleen Kennedy said as much to EW ahead of the show's premiere last year. Everybody involved would love to see it not end, but we have to really spend our time asking the questions: what would we do? Why would we do it? And if we decide to do anything more with the Obi-Wan Kenobi character, would we really have an answer to the question why? So this just goes on to talk about what they think is going to happen. But it's very interesting. This was, of course, a month and a half ago, and we're going to get into what's happening right now. But Kathleen Kennedy herself said the door's never closed. We could eventually go back to those characters if there's a story, because Deborah Chow loved doing it. Ewan McGregor loved doing it. He wants to come back. Ewan McGregor himself said he wants to come back. He would love to do one of these every once in a while. There's a lot of people who want to do a second season. However, if there's not a story there, if there's not enough to create a second season, then what's the point? You know? Honey Badger says he could die, but then Ahsoka saves him via the world between worlds. He's talking about Cal Kestis. Cal Kestis could die saving Obi-Wan, but Ahsoka could save him via the world between worlds. Well, then you're talking about another character that is being pulled out of time and saved through the world between worlds, which would kind of cause for an uproar in the Star Wars community for sure. Honey Badger says, I swear, if we get Obi-Wan season 2 before Boba season 2, I'll steal all the blue milk and ponchos in the galaxy. Yeah, I think Book of Boba Fett should definitely get a season 2 long before the Obi-Wan Kenobi should. It's just, the Book of Boba Fett has so much potential for more storylines. You have the underground of Star Wars, underworld with bounty hunters and all this other stuff. Nal Hata, you have the Hutts, you have all these other crime syndicates with the Crimson Dawn, the Pikes, and all this other stuff. And now you can just explore any of that in a Book of Boba Fett season 2. The Obi-Wan Kenobi show has nothing, absolutely nothing. Actually, it has one thing: a character that's supposed to remain on a planet until A New Hope, until the original trilogy. So you literally have nothing. So the Book of Boba Fett should definitely be way more of a priority than a Obi-Wan Kenobi season 2. I do agree. And go ahead. If that does happen, I will help you steal all the blue milk and ponchos in the galaxy. I will. Honey Badger says Obi-Wan season 2 could work really well, and just have it be Vader sending Inquisitors to find Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan has to fight them all off, and at some point there's none left, and we get Vader and Obi-Wan, but they never share the screen unless it's a flashback or the Clone Wars. With Ahsoka coming, we could see them both in the world between worlds. Possibilities are endless. Possibilities are always endless with the world between worlds. I mean, however Dave is going to explain the world between worlds, here's how I see the world between worlds. I don't see it as you can go back in time and save any character. Whoever dies, they can't just be pulled out of the timeline. That can't happen. I see it more of a way to explain what actually happened. Ahsoka's going to go back and try to save Anakin from falling to the dark side. She's going to find out that can't happen. It can't happen. It's impossible. It's impossible. It's impossible. She can't do it. It's destiny. The World Between Worlds is really going to involve destiny in a big way. Destiny's always been a big thing in Star Wars. Fulfill your destiny. It's said many times throughout the original trilogy. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see whether or not, or I guess how Dave Filoni is going to explain the World Between Worlds. But how I see it is it's just a way to tell what destiny actually is, especially to Ahsoka here, because she's going to go try to change the past and realize that can't happen. It can't happen. And she'll be like, okay, no. Honey Badger says, yes, blue milk and poncho raid. This is the way. Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, I just love the spot Star Wars is in now. World Between Worlds, Tanalorr, the new beyond. Star Wars is cooking. Star Wars over these next couple of years is going to be insane. I've said it a million times over these last couple of months since Star Wars Celebration. It is right now the best time to be a Star Wars fan. The single best time to be a Star Wars fan. And with all the different projects, all the different eras that we're expanding into, the Dawn of the Jedi, post-sequel trilogy stuff, Mandoverse stuff, a Mando freaking movie, a culmination movie, Heir to the Empire. You still got stuff coming out in between the prequels and the original trilogy. You got High Republic stuff still. You got the Acolyte show, which is going to be a Sith-centered show. Like, the amount of Star Wars stuff we're going to be getting over these next couple of years, and the quality of it is going to be awesome. It's going to be great between video games, between live action, between animation. You got Tales of the Jedi, Bad Batch Season 3. Like, it's great. It's absolutely the best time to be a Star Wars fan right now. And with the World Between Worlds, with the new Beyond, a new space in Star Wars that has new Force users, the Night Sisters origins, and absolutely countless new threats could come out of the new Beyond. You could be talking about the Yuzon Vong, because you know Dave Filoni knows that people want to see the Yuzon Vong. You could be talking about all these different Legends bad guys, but also new bad guys that could be introduced via not the World Between Worlds, via the new Beyond. So, yeah, it's just the best time ever to be a Star Wars fan. Literally the best time ever to be a Star Wars fan. And we're at the perfect moment where Mark Hamill can come back and play Luke Skywalker. They could de-age him, or he could be current time Force Ghost Luke Skywalker. You could have Harrison Ford come back and do de-aging because he loves it so much to be Han Solo. You could have the prequel characters, Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, Natalie Portman, who wants to come back, and we'll talk about that in a little bit here. You can have those characters. They're at the perfect age where they can make an Obi-Wan Kenobi show. You're at the perfect time period here, in even the sequel characters. I know a lot of people hate the sequel trilogy, and I'm kind of on board with you. You have all those characters who are at the right age now where they can go make more stories. The Rey movie, although it might not be good, has the possibilities to be amazing and explore those characters in a big, big way. Jedi, Finn, come on. It'd be great. So you're at the perfect time to be a Star Wars fan, and I literally can't wait. I can't wait. Grogu, the future. The future. I got a nice new Star Wars shirt for my birthday, by the way. Yeah. 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 I'm losing my voice today. I'm losing it so much already. We're not even a half hour in, and I gotta go to the cup. All right. Where were we? Honey Badger says, yeah, Mike, Destiny was thrown out the window with Rey Skywalker. Yes. W Star Wars shirt. Yeah, it's a pretty sick Star Wars shirt. Good cups follow orders. Good cups, folks, orders. I know what you meant. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get into this next article about the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Let's get into the next one. All right, here we go. This one's coming from the Direct. Oh my God, Little Mermaid. All right, here we go. Boom, 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 ba-dum, boom, ba-dum. There we go. Will Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2 happen? Director shares update. See, like the Little Mermaid's on the top right? Yeah. Okay. So, Deborah Chow is now talking about this. So, Deborah Chow, the director of Lucasfilm's The Obi-Wan Kenobi Show, has commented on the hypothetical season 2 of the hit Star Wars series. Was it a hit Star Wars series? Was it a hit Star Wars series though? Was it a hit Star Wars series though? I mean, the finale was great. Don't get me wrong. It was great. But was it a hit? Was it a hit? Okay. The Disney Plus show finished up last June. We're almost a year out since the end of that show. But there is still no active movement on a second season. Ahead of its finale, however, there were whispers of a season 2 was still in the works. The latest word on the possible continuation came from Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy, who shared that the season 2 is not in active development, but the potential was still there that something could happen down the road. That's what we just talked about. That all kind of came out back in April. So Deborah Chow has now chimed in. Deborah Chow being the one who directed every single episode of that season. So here's what Deborah says. While speaking with Deadline's Crew Call podcast, never listened to it, but I don't know. Anybody listen to that? I don't know. Obi-Wan Kenobi director Deborah Chow spoke out. Hang on. Okay. Deborah Chow spoke out about the likelihood of Ewan McGregor's show getting a second season. Deborah Chow admitted that the first set of episodes was always convinced as a limited series, but never conceived. I'm stupid. Don't worry about it, guys. As a limited series. So this is what she said. This was always conceived as a limited series, and I'm sure you can tell from the story that it closed. There was an actual ending. We did obviously seem to tell one big story. Who knows? There is 10 years before A New Hope starts, so never say never. But for this particular project, it really was conceived to be a limited series. So when it was created, this show never, ever had a plan for a second season. It was always going to be a limited series, never was going to get a second season. However, after it came out, and Ewan McGregor said he wants to do more, and all these other people said they want to do more, and some of the fans said they want to see more, that's when the idea for a second season came around. So, what could season 2 have in store? As Deborah Chow pointed out, there is a large chunk of time between the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, season 1, and A New Hope, meaning there is plenty of opportunity for interesting stories. For one, perhaps, Lucasfilm could orchestrate a crossover between Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi and Cameron Monaghan's Cal Kestis, something fans have been asking for since recent Disney series landed. So yes, everybody wants to see Cal Kestis come into live action, and many people believe that he will come into live action in the Mandoverse time period, in either Mandalorian Season 4, The Skeleton Crew, which is this year, or even the Ahsoka show, which is later this year as well. But not many people thought that we would see Cal Kestis in an Obi-Wan Season 2. Now, I remember when Obi-Wan came out the first season, I even was predicting that maybe Cal Kestis would show up. Now, that was a year ago. I'm sure not many of you guys were here a year ago because we had a lot less subscribers. But shout out to anybody who was, and tell me in the chat. But we talked about Cal Kestis may be showing up in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show in the first season. That never happened, of course. They didn't go down that route. And, I mean, although it seems like Jedi Survivor is kind of heavily connected to the Obi-Wan Kenobi show via the paths. It's called the paths, guys. I figured it out. Nobody wanted to help me out, I guess, via the paths. The hidden paths, that's what it's called. Even though they were connected like that, it didn't seem like they wanted to bring Cal Kestis into the Obi-Wan Kenobi show just to not take away from Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen's returns to their respective characters, which I don't blame them. Cal Kestis kind of would have came in and stolen the show a little bit, but you never know. Let's continue. One of the biggest dangling threads of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show is the future of Moses Ingram's Reva. Is that her name? Her full name? Reva Sevander? Okay, Reva. Yeah, so that was the biggest thing. Reva was alive at the end of season 1. Why? I don't know. She got stabbed in the chest twice by Vader. Why not kill her off? I don't know. I don't. Okay? I don't know. somebody has an answer, please tell me, because I don't know. But Reva is still alive. And she's not in the original trilogy. She's not in the Mandoverse. Where is Reva? It's a big question. So exploring what happened to her and the Inquisitor program as a whole would actually would be a great future story for the franchise. But here's the thing. The Inquisitors are still around during Star Wars Rebels. There is a 10-year gap in between the Obi-Wan Kenobi show and A New Hope. But there's 4 seasons of Rebels. There's going to be 2 seasons of Andor. There's Rogue One. There's a lot of story already covered in those 10 years right there. So whether or not we need an Obi-Wan Kenobi season 2, that story kind of seems to be already filled. But Reva kind of seems to be the only question mark herself. Of course, there is Obi-Wan himself. Perhaps more Qui-Gon Jinn might be in order, as audiences witnessed the Jedi's late master teaching him how to master his Force Ghost abilities. Now, seeing that alone, seeing a Force Ghost Qui-Gon teaching Obi-Wan to become a Force Ghost would be awesome. It would be so freaking cool. But again, it's not a whole season of a show. It's just not. It's an episode at most. It's 45 minutes at most. It could explain a lot of what the Force is. It could explain a lot of what becoming a Force Ghost is like, what it actually takes. We saw a lot of that in the Clone Wars Season 6 when Yoda goes on the adventure to the wills of the Force. He goes to all these different planets. He sees Darth Bane, his tomb at least. There's a lot going on, you know? Logan says, Is Call Andor more of a hit than Kenobi? Is Call Andor? Is Andor more of a hit than Kenobi? No. Absolutely not. I think Kenobi probably smacked Andor across the face, stomped it to the ground, and said, "Stay down! Stay down!" I think it just got that much more views, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, that is, just because it was Obi-Wan and Anakin, and it was Vader versus Obi-Wan. It was the rematch of the century, so it got so much more views than the Andor show, which is a spin-off of a spin-off. So it definitely was more of a hit. Now, which show was better? That's kind of up for you guys to decide, but even in my own head, Kenobi is still better than Andor. You know? Honey Badger says, hot take. The Mandalorian Season 3 final fight is greater than the Obi-Wan Kenobi season finale fight. Interesting. That is a tough one, because the two are so kind of different, you know? I love that I love that Mando Season 3 finale fight. I do. The flying through, like, it's Clone Wars live action almost. I don't know. That's tough. That is tough. But it is Anakin versus Vader. Anakin versus Vader. Vader versus Obi-Wan. No. Just the last scene when his mask is off. In the emotional scene between, like, Obi-Wan and Anakin, and well, then my friend is truly gone. All that is better than the Mandalorian Season 3 finale, but the fight scene might be better. It might be better. The fight itself might be better. Honey Badger follows up and says, I was not here back then. I wish I was. Yeah, no, don't worry about not being here back then. At least you're here now, and we're growing more and more anyway. We just hit 1,700. We actually zoomed right past 1,700 subscribers. We're at like 1,730, something like that. So we're growing, and we're growing fast, and it's a lot of fun growing with all you guys. So it's going to be awesome. I did want to do a giveaway today for my birthday, but we still have yet to hit the monetization spot yet, so next birthday we'll give something awesome away. Logan says, the path. My first reaction is, I hope Cal isn't in Kenobi. Yeah. Yeah, I could see. Here's my thing. Here's my thing with that. Okay, Cal Kestis coming into live action makes way more sense in post original trilogy. If he interacted with Obi-Wan, that would bring up so many questions when it comes to the original trilogy. When it's Alec Guinness's Obi-Wan Kenobi, when it's him talking as a Force ghost to Yoda on Dagobah, he's never thinking that Cal Kestis is alive. He's never thinking that he knows who Cal Kestis is. They think that they're the only two. I mean, Obi-Wan's dead. Yoda thinks he's the only actual Jedi still alive. And he even says to Luke when he dies, then Luke will be the last of the Jedi. Now, he does say there is another. In Empire Strikes Back, he does say there is another. And everybody still speculates on who that other is, but it does seem like he was referring to Leia, of course. I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? In Empire Strikes Back, Yoda says there is another when Luke says, I gotta go save my friends, but your training's not complete, blah, 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 and he leaves anyway. And Yoda's like, well, there is another. Many people speculate who that other could be, but I do believe that it is definitely Leia. But shout out to anybody who thinks it's somebody else. Who do you think it could be? Grogu? Grogu. Yoda knows who Grogu is. If he's his child, he definitely knows who Grogu is. There is another. Okay? There is another. All right. Where was I? Logan says, Reva is in the unknown regions. Yeah, but Reva survives the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. She's on Tatooine. She just got stabbed in the chest by Darth Vader, and she survives for the second time. She goes to the unknown regions, and then what? Just hangs out? Is she ever going to come back? Is she going to be in the Mandoverse? Is she going to be in Dave Filoni's Heir to the Empire movie? Like, at what point is there too much Reva? Because the Obi-Wan Kenobi show was that point, about episode 2. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Logan says, Andor was way better than the Kenobi show. That is a bold take. Anybody agree with Logan there? Anybody agree with Logan that Andor was better than the Kenobi show? Because Honey Badger definitely doesn't, because he follows up and says Kenobi is greater than Ann Snore. Still haven't watched that mess. Well, you got to watch it first, at least, Honey Badger, to give a valid interpretation. Honey Badger follows up and says, now the emotional scenes and dialogue with Kenobi and Vader definitely is what sold the finale for me. The fight was great, but the heartbreaking talk between the two is unmatched. It's very true. That is one of the best scenes from Star Wars now. It is one of those just great scenes from Star Wars, which is awesome. It literally makes the whole Obi-Wan Kenobi show worth it. Just that final scene, you know? You know? Nico, what's up? Nico says, happy birthday. Thank you, man. Happy birthday. Thank you. And yes, I remember that. Yeah, you remember the whole Yoda, there is another, you know? Yeah, exactly. Freak Zeke says, the news of Padme returning could be Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2. Happy birthday. No, thanks Zeke. That's very interesting. So yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday I came out with a video. Is Padme returning to Star Wars? And my theory was that she would return via the World Between Worlds in the Ahsoka show, because if she's going back to fight Anakin on Mustafar, Padme was there, so you would see Padme. And of course, Ahsoka, if she's trying to get to Anakin, trying to bring him back to the light, would use his wife for help. So I do believe that if that is the case, if we actually are going to Mustafar, again, this is all just rumor. If we are going to Mustafar and we are trying to save, I say we, like I'm right alongside of Ahsoka going to save Anakin on Mustafar, but if that's what's actually going down, if that's what's actually happening, Padme has to be there. So that was kind of the gist of the video. If you didn't watch it, that's the gist of it. Go watch it. But Freak Zeke here says that maybe the news of Padme returning could be Obi-Wan Season 2. Now, I even mentioned it in the video, it seems like they had the reunion of the prequel characters. You had Ewan McGregor come back to Obi-Wan. You had Hayden Christensen come back to Vader. But they left out the third. Like Padme, the reason that Anakin fell to the dark side, trying to save Padme. Like almost the whole entire reason he fell to the dark side is because of Padme. And she wasn't even mentioned. Wasn't even name dropped in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. I thought that was a huge miss. I thought they definitely should have had that. Maybe even had Padme show up to Anakin in some vision, force vision, something like that, when he's Vader, maybe when he's in the Bacta tank, in some flashback or a force vision, like I said. just play on that Padme thing a little bit. Like, she was so important to him, and they kind of just avoided it. So maybe in a season 2, they could have that. But again, it doesn't involve Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan wouldn't even be involved in a second season. At this point, you might as well make a Vader season 1, or Vader season 1, or just put like Obi-Wan Kenobi season 2, Vader. Like underneath it, subtitle, Vader season 1. Like, just market it as an Obi-Wan Kenobi show, but it's really just all about Vader. I don't know. Nico follows up and says, I most definitely think that he was talking about Leia. Yeah, it probably was. At the time, definitely was. Because George Lucas wasn't thinking about Grogu. He never even knew Grogu existed. He wasn't talking about Ahsoka because Ahsoka didn't exist. He wasn't talking about anybody else because they didn't exist. So what George Lucas was referring to there when he was talking about Yoda, that there is another, it was Leia. But now people can interpret it in many different ways. Yeah. Honey Badger says the other is Cal Kestis. I refuse. The other is Cal Kestis, which Yoda is referring to. I refuse to believe that Yoda was talking about Leia. I'm sorry. And Sir Mandalorian Din Grogu, but still he's got to be talking about Cal, or at least it has to be. He's old. Or at least now it has to be. Oh, now it has to be, yes. He's older than Luke. It's possible, but does Yoda even know that Cal either survived Order 66, or does Yoda even know who Cal is? Yoda didn't know all the Jedi who came through the Jedi Temple. Now, he did train with a lot of them as younglings, but maybe he didn't ever get to Cal. But even if he did know who Cal Kestis is, how does he know he's still alive? My interpretation of this now, because I do think it was Leia at some point, but I do believe that Disney might play off of it as it's somebody else. Maybe it's Grogu, because of course he is the child of Yoda. Not confirmed, but confirmed. But there's one big person, and his name is Ezra Bridger. Now you might be saying, Mike, I know you love Ezra Bridger, but not everything's about Ezra Bridger. It's about Ezra Bridger, okay? It is. Ezra Bridger is very important to the story of Star Wars now and moving forward. And how does Yoda know he exists? He has multiple conversations with Ezra Bridger. Yoda, that is. Yoda has multiple conversations with Ezra Bridger throughout the 4 seasons of Star Wars Rebels. They never meet face to face. Ezra never goes to Dagobah, but Yoda knows he exists. Yoda knows who he is. Yoda has conversations with him. When he goes into the Jedi Temple on Lothal, he does. And when he's in the World Between Worlds, he hears Yoda. There is a relationship there. So Yoda does know who Ezra Bridger is. He knows how powerful he is. And he knows that he's very, very important. So Ezra Bridger is a gigantic question mark when it comes to Star Wars, and I love it. Ezra's one of my favorite characters ever, and I can't wait for him to come to live action. Like, the Ahsoka show is going to blow my mind. But yeah. Freakseek says, Reva, the girl who lived. Yeah, I know. Like, is she ever going to die? At this point, she's already been stabbed by Anakin or Vader twice. So, at this point, how does she die? How does she die? Honestly. Like, do we just keep her around forever? Is she just immortal? All right, you ready? Bold prediction. Reva is the main villain of the Rey movie. No! That would be terrible. That would be so bad. Oh, terrible. Honey Badger says, and somehow Reva returned. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Logan says, I really liked Kenobi, though. Don't get me wrong. He just thinks Andor is better. All right? I won't get you wrong, Logan. I won't get you wrong. Trust me. I won't get you wrong. Honey Badger says, I mean, Grogu has to be the spawn of Yoda and Yaddle. If not, in my opinion, it ruins Yoda and the mystery around him and his species. They should have Yoda. They should have Yoda and Yaddle were the last of their kind until they had Grogu. That would make sense. Now, here's the thing. Dave Filoni's going to this new Beyond. It's going to be the origins of the Night Sisters. Is Dave Filoni going to answer the question of where did Yoda come from? And is it going to be this new Beyond? I know a lot of people like that Yoda has this mystery behind him, that he is, you never know what his species name is, you never know where he came from, all this other stuff. But what if Dave Filoni is the one who gives answers to those? What if they find the place that Yoda was from in the New Beyond? Now, maybe there's not like just a bunch of Yodas walking around there, but what if Grogu somehow has connection to the planet, somehow knows that that's where Yoda is from, and that's how we figure out where the origins of Yoda come from in this New Beyond? I feel like many, many Star Wars fans would be opposed to that because they like the mystery behind Yoda. It would be a lot like Boba Fett. There's so much mystery around the character of Boba Fett. He only has a few lines in the original trilogy. You never see his face, and he dies very quickly. Then they make a show about him, and everybody hates it because they explained the character in a way that they didn't like, and blah, 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 blah. So that could be the same case if they tried to explain where Yoda came from. But you never know with Dave Filoni. You never know with Dave Filoni. He strikes it out of the park with everything he touches. So at this point, it is possible. Anything is possible. Whew. Lose my voice today. I know I already said that, but I like to say it again. Freak C says, we know that George mashed up his sequel plans and made Leia the sister of Luke would have met in episode 9. What? Let me try and read that again. We know that George mashed up his sequel plans and made Leia the sister Luke would have met in episode 9. I have no idea what you're talking about, Zeke. I honestly have no clue. I don't know. I don't. Maybe I'm lost, but maybe you're lost. Honey Badger says, Kiadi Mundi was allowed to mate with his species because their species was facing extinction. I think the same could be said about Yoda and Yaddle. Yeah, no, definitely. Absolutely. Absolutely 100%. Definitely. Nico says, I mean, George Lucas is, in his sequel trilogy, would have had Leia be the actual chosen one. That is true. So this is coming from the creator, George Lucas. He said that Leia would have been the chosen one in this third trilogy. If he got to make the sequel trilogy, it would be all about Leia and how she is the chosen one. And he teased towards it even in the original trilogy. He made Luke a whiny baby the whole original trilogy. Uncle Owen. He was a whiny baby, okay? But he also teased at it with Yoda saying there is another, and all these other hints in whatever's, all these Leias looking off into the distance on Endor, all this other stuff. So Leia could have eventually been the chosen one, which would have been cool, would have been really, really cool. But yeah, so that's probably who Yoda was talking about in Empire. Freakseek says, Yoda and the Joker prefer their origins be multiple choice. The Joker too, yeah. Yeah, very true. Very, very true. But the multiple choice is kind of like every option there is. Yoda, we have no idea where he came from. Yoda's just his name. We have no species name for him. At least you can say that the Joker was a human being. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know for sure. We don't know. Should we get into these? Actually, I wanted to. We'll save that. We'll save it. All right. So not big news, but kind of news here. The Skeleton Crew show gets an unsurprising update that it will be 8 episodes. Now, it's staying with the 8-episode theme of Ahsoka and The Mandalorian. Now, Book of Boba Fett is the only show that is in this Mando time period that it was 7 episodes. The Kenobi show was 6, but that is not in the Mando time period. But you have Mandalorian season 1, 2, 3, all 8 episodes. The Ahsoka show, 8 episodes. And now Skeleton Crew just confirmed to be 8 episodes as well. Now, again, we still know very, very little about the Skeleton Crew show, except for the fact that Jude Law will be a Jedi. It will follow these kids. It'll be like the Goonies meets Star Wars. And it'll be a fun adventure and hopefully have some twists and turns that nobody knows about because there's nothing being said about this show at all. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how that goes. But whoa, wow, that just updated. That never happened before. Mary Myers has just subscribed. Thank you, Mary. Yeah, no, okay, that's kind of cool. Okay, I got completely distracted. Where was I? I have no idea what I was just talking about, guys. I think I'm losing it. Oh, Skeleton Crew. Oh, yeah. So I think there's going to be some pretty big surprises when it comes to the Skeleton Crew show, just because nobody's talking about it. There's no news about it. We know nothing about it. But they wouldn't have fast-tracked it the way they did if they didn't know it was going to be a good show. So I do have very, very high hopes about the Skeleton Crew show, and of course, it being 8 episodes is not huge news, but you never know, because Kenobi was 6, Andor was 12, Boba Fett was 7, so 8 episodes is good news. It's good news. It's good news. Honey Badger says, I mean, in episode 8, during the flashbacks, barely trained Leia took down fully trained Luke in their training sequence. So I definitely believe that that if she chose the path, she'd surpass Luke. Yeah, no, she was definitely very, very powerful. When it came to Legends too, she was extremely powerful. So Leia is a Skywalker, of course. So she is going to be very, very powerful. Whether or not she would surpass Luke, I don't know. But it was definitely a big missed opportunity. Definitely. Freak Zeke says, what I was saying in response to there's an unnamed sister who ended up being written as Leia. Ah, I see. Okay. So he just changed that in episode 6, because you don't find out that Leia's his sister until Return of the Jedi, episode 6. So in Empire, he's talking about an unnamed sister that was supposed to be introduced further down the line, and it wasn't supposed to be Leia. That makes sense, Freak Zeke. Thank you for clearing that up. All right, we do have some other news to get into here. Let's talk about this. So this is a little bit of Mandalorian, just Mandalorian news in general. Let's take a look at this. Mandalorian actor breaks silence on surprising resurrection decision. So this is about Axe Woves and how he was actually supposed to be dead. He actually was supposed to die off in season 2 of The Mandalorian. That's why you don't see him in the finale of the season 2 of The Mandalorian. And he was actually supposed to die off, and he was not even supposed to be in this 3rd season. But we saw that in this 3rd season, Axe Woves has a very, very important role when it comes to this 3rd season. So let's get into this. I gotta take a sip of water. I'm losing my voice. And right now, the poll is sitting at 75% of you want to see a season 2 of Kenobi, which is kind of crazy. Honestly, that's very surprising to me. A memorable star from The Mandalorian season 2 and season 3 discussed Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni's original intents to kill his character off in the show's 2nd year, and how that ended up not being the case. The Mandalorian's 3rd season recently wrapped up. While it didn't enjoy the extreme popularity of its first 2 seasons, the series still found a way to further flesh out Star Wars' New Republic era, while adding action and excitement along the way. Katie Sackhoff's Bo-Katan and her Mandalorian followers, of course, who played major roles in Mando Season 3, with her clan appearing in multiple episodes. So Simon... I don't try with last names. I just don't do it. I don't. Okay? So Simon talks Axe Woves survival. So, speaking with Holophiles, Simon, we're going to call him Cowell, because Simon Cowell, you guys know who Simon Cowell is, right? Simon Cowell. Might confuse some people who are coming in just now, but Simon Cowell. Simon Cowell, who portrays the Mandalorian's warrior, Axe Woves, in both the 2nd and 3rd season of The Mandalorian, discuss how he actually shot scenes for season 2 where the character died. So these were obviously cut out. We did not see him die in season 2, but Wolves would have been killed off in chapters 11, The Heiress. So that's the chapter in season 2 where Bo-Katan is introduced. But his death scene wasn't used in the final episode, effectively sparing his character from being written out. So Simon was sure to mention that he was excited that things shook out the way that they did, and Axe Wolf's character was revived. So this is what Simon says. Simon says, get it? Oh my God, I'm so good. Okay. Simon says, touch your head. Okay. Simon says, I can't say that without laughing. The way that I look at it is it's really the storyteller's story. So to tell. So John and Dave and all the guys that create the show, they're such experts in deciding everything, and they see how they want to shape things. I can't really speak to deciding to make Axe Wolves live, because I think it was just mostly, I was just mostly excited that it didn't go that way. The actor recalled the series producers asking him if he'd like to do more of The Mandalorian, even though season 2 was finished and there was no means of adding Axe Wolves until a later episode. This caused a bit of confusion over the whereabouts when it came to season 3. He says, Simon says, but yeah, I do remember them calling me and saying, would you like to come back and film? And I said, yeah, cool. I'm sure he didn't say yes, cool, but yeah, cool. And then when I went in, and we did that. Is this English? And we did that. It was beyond the season finale of season 2 have been locked. So what is he talking about here? So it was too late to be inserted into the finale. Oh, so he's saying that he got asked to come back to film more stuff, but it was already after season 2's finale was filmed, so that's why he wasn't in season 2's finale. So there was a lot of where is he, what is he doing, and why weren't you in that second season finale, and now the cat's out of the bag. So Simon's only appeared in one episode of The Mandalorian prior to season 3, and upon reading the scripts for his additional episodes, he was quite impressed for his character's role, because let's be honest, he had a very, very small role in that second season, and then season 3 comes around, and he's this big, big role, and he's a big main character for the Mandalorians. Simon says, I certainly had no idea for a long time as to how and when and if I was going to be back. And all I had to go on was the wonderful reaction from the fans, just from the one episode in season 2, which leaves you hopeful. And then obviously you get the scripts for season 3. Reading them, I was just like, wow. Additionally, Simon spoke out on his triumphant declaration for Mandalore came to be in season 3's finale, noting that he worked with Jon Favreau on the line. So this is, of course, they're chanting for Mandalore at the end, and Axe Wolves is the one who starts that chant. So John and I sat down, Simon says, John and I sat down and he said, how do we feel about this arc, and how do you feel about saying something? And he said to try for Mandalore. And well, the rest is history. But it was It was an amazing moment thinking about them all returning, especially the backstory that I built into that moment in terms of what it meant for the character. So obviously he knows the gigantic backstory that is Mandalore and all the Mandalorians and all the fights on the for Mandalore and all that other stuff. So this says the continuation of the story and where we could see Axe Wolves next and blah 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 blah. But it is very interesting that at one point they literally filmed scenes of Axe Wolves actually dying, and they cut them out because they were like, maybe we'll bring this character back. But they had already filmed the finale for season 2, so he wasn't in that finale with Bo-Katan and Cosca Reeves, so he wasn't involved in that. He wasn't involved in saving Grogu and taking Moff Gideon's whatever. So they had to explain where he was during that and all that other stuff, and that's what they did in The Mandalorian season 3. And he eventually becomes this main Mandalorian character, and of course, chants for Mandalore at the end. So Axe Wolves is a very, very cool character. At one point, we all thought he was a spy, but he's not, which is good. And we will probably see him in Mando season 4, or even the Heir to the Empire movie, as I'm sure all these Mandalorians are going to be fighting up against Thrawn, and his undead army. Where was I? Honey Badger says, I can't wait for Dave's movie. When Superman Leia flies through the sky with the Force, like Captain Marvel in Infinity War, crushes Thrawn's army single-handedly. So Leia's gonna come in and destroy Thrawn, is what you're saying? That would be hilarious. Honey Badger follows up and says, I only want Kenobi Season 2 because I want more Hayden and Ewan. That's very true. But you're going to get more Hayden in the Ahsoka show. You're probably going to get more Hayden in some other projects as well. You could get Force Ghost Anakin Skywalker and have an actual explanation as to where he went. The Heir to the Empire movie might actually include that. Include where was Anakin's Force Ghost during the sequel trilogy and have an explanation for that, you know? Freakseek says, the 4 Mandalore chant was powerful. It really was. It really was. But yeah, what do we think about that? Do you think we could see not only just flashbacks or World Between Worlds Anakin in Ahsoka, but also Force Ghost Anakin? Do you think we'll actually see Force Ghost Anakin Skywalker in the Ahsoka show or Heir to the Empire, which is the movie Dave Filoni's working on? Do you think that Anakin will actually show up in that? Do you think that it's possible that Anakin Skywalker could be that guy who shows up? Hang on, this is annoying me. Nope, wrong way. There we go. Fixed it. Okay. Because, I mean, honestly, give me more Anakin, please. Please, more Anakin. The more Anakin, the better. The more Anakin, the better. And Hayden is the GOAT, so yeah, I got some big news for you guys. And I told the Discord last night, and if you guys want to join that Discord, there is a link in the description below to a Discord called The People Who Love Star Wars, where we got a bunch of people talking about Star Wars. So go check that out. But I just got, for my birthday, tickets to a fan expo, which is like a Comic-Con type thing, for those of you who are unfamiliar, that is happening in Boston. If any of you guys are around and want to meet up, it's in Boston. And it's going to have Hayden Christensen there. It's going to have Rosario Dawson there, of course, plays Ahsoka. It's going to have Ashley Eckstein, who voices Ahsoka in the Clone Wars. It's going to have Matt Lanter, who voices Anakin in the Clone Wars. It's going to have what the hell's his name? Who voices Obi-Wan? Completely blanking on his name. Damn, that blows. But those 3 are going to be there, the main 3 from the Clone Wars, and of course Hayden Christensen and Rosario Dawson. There are some other people from different worlds, different IPs, you know. But yeah, that is absolutely awesome. I can't wait for that. That's in August. I think August like 4th through 6th or something like that. It's a 3-day event. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. Get to go meet Hayden Christensen. Let's go. Okay. And I'll ask him. I'll be like, hey, yo, are you in the Ahsoka show? Actually, by then it'll come out in like a few weeks. I'll be like, are you a Force Ghost in the Ahsoka show? Are you going to be in any other Star Wars projects? I'm going to get answers, guys. I'm going to get answers. I'll get all the answers. And then I'll go up to Rosario Dawson and be like, are you going to be in the Rey movie? Yeah. I'll get all the answers. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. Honey Badger says, I see Anakin showing up at the end of Ahsoka to comfort her while she's recovering from Rex's death. Oh my god, that would be crazy. Similar to Qui-Gon at the end of Obi-Wan. Yeah, well, I mean, Rex was just as close to Ahsoka as he was Anakin, so that would be insane. That would be awesome. That would be so cool. Swagger Like Us says, can't wait to see Hayden. And August is right around the corner. Yes! I know, August is right around the corner. And now I got even more cool things to be excited for in August with this fan expo. So yeah, that's going to be awesome. And I can't freaking wait. I can't wait. But yeah, I know it's already almost June, guys. June is in 2 days. We're getting there. We're getting there. The trip to Ahsoka is on the way. Freak Seek says, get a picture with both Ahsoka actresses. Yeah, I'll do that, and then I'll post it on the YouTube community tab, and I'll be like, seeing double or something like that. It'll be something funny. Don't worry. I'll think of something cool. I'll think of something funny. I got time. I'll get a picture with Hayden and the Ahsokas and Obi-Wan and other Anakin, and I'll be like, seeing double. Hello there. I don't know why you guys listen to me, but okay. Honey Badger says, I know, Ahsoka needs to hurry up and drop. I'm so excited for the show. Honestly, I've debated it many times throughout these last couple weeks, whether or not I should just go to sleep and then just wake up in August. But yeah, I gotta do the content for you guys. So I guess says, Jedi Survivor, Ahsoka, Star Wars Visions Season 2, what a year. Well, you forgot Mando Season 3. You forgot Skeleton Crew. Like, this year is insane. You get Mando Season 3, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, and Visions. That's 4 shows. Oh, and The Bad Batch. 5 shows. The Bad Batch Season 2 came out this year, ladies and gentlemen. 5 shows. A video game, Jedi Survivor. And Star Wars Celebration, which gave us announcements for 3 movies and more shows and all this other stuff. This is quite the year. 2023 is quite the year for Star Wars. Like, it's really something. It is really something. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. The next couple of years for Star Wars are going crazy. They're going to go crazy. They're going to go crazy. All right. Let's wait, what haven't we covered? We covered the Axe Wolf stuff. We covered the Skeleton Crew stuff. We covered the Kenobi stuff. What about Padme Amidala? What do we think about Padme Amidala coming back? Natalie Portman, and we're gonna watch the video. I think. Did we watch the video on Saturday? I forget. Did we watch the interview? Let's watch it anyway. Why not? Logan says, did you like Visions? I loved Visions. I think Season 2 was better than Season 1. Season 1 had, I think, cool, like, it's tough because Visions is such a weird thing for me, at least, because Visions is like, Season 1, Episode 1 is Ronin. It's so good. And then Season 1, Episode 2 is Tatooine Rhapsody. Tatooine Rhapsody. And you're like, what the hell is going on here? Who chose to make this a show? Like, each episode goes back and forth of being like really, 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 really good and then really, 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 really bad. But Season 2 was like really good, yeah. Honey Badger says, someone get the carbonite ready so I can take a nap until Ahsoka drops. Mando said he can bring us all in warm or cold. Yeah, very true. Yeah, Mike, did you like Visions? Huh? I did like Visions. And did you finally finish it? I finally finished it. I did. I really enjoyed Visions a whole lot. And I don't know. You guys think there'll be a Season 3 for Visions? Volume 3? The first episode and the Indian episode were amazing. Oh, for Season 2? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%. Oh, what the heck? For sure. The Village Bride from Season 1 is still my favorite. That one is very, very good. I think Ronin, that one, and the one with the old guy. Oh, I can't remember. Is it just called like Old Man or something like that? Season 1 had some bangers. Season 1 had some really big bangers, but Season 2 too, yeah. Logan says, I hope there's a Volume 3 or Season 3. Wow, I wish it could all be canon. Yeah. Well, that's the thing with it, is it's Legends, so it can really go above and beyond and explore all these different facets of Star Wars, so it can't really be canon. But yeah, I know what you mean. Maybe they should make some Visions content or something like Visions that is like thousands of years before or thousands of years after the Skywalker saga, so it could be canon. I think that would be a solid idea. But when you have stormtroopers involved in some of the episodes and the Empire involved in some of the episodes, it can't be canon, you know. All right, let's pull up this interview here. By the way, it's so funny when you see some of the people's comments on my shorts and my videos. They're hilarious. It's so like, how stupid are people sometimes? Like, I posted the video of Padme returning, right? And clearly they didn't listen to the video, and they just saw the title and they said, no, Padme can't return. She's dead, you idiot. Obviously, she's dead. I'm not stupid. I've seen Star Wars. I'm a freaking guy on YouTube making a video about Star Wars. You don't think I know she's dead? Maybe you should watch the video. People are dumb. People are dumb. You heard it here first, people. People are dumb. All right, let's watch this. Where, I have to remember. I don't remember. Wait. Oh, here we go. Here we go. All right, here we go. I'm trying to find. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. All right. So this is the interview with Natalie Portman, and when she talks about Star Wars and coming back to Star Wars. Let me let me get to Honey Badger's chat here first. Honey Badger says, "Man, I like that it's non-canon. They could even do more. They could even do a Visions movie with all the characters fighting each other with no consequences in the story of Star Wars. It could go crazy. They could go crazy with it. Yeah, no, that's true. They could go really, really crazy with that, and that's kind of what I love about it too. Is it is Legends. But let's watch this interview. Let's watch this interview. Is that that works? Okay.
The prequels, but the costume design was amazing. It was amazing. This one is pretty incredible. It's got such like kind of Japanese elements. From the second one, I took one of Anakin's braids. He had that little like braid hanging down. Then I lost it, you know, so that's not very helpful.
She lost Anakin's braid. Somebody go find that. Somebody go find that immediately. Come on. People would pay top dollar for that braid.
Any chance that Padme Natalie Portman returns to Star Wars? Her character really deserves it with the way she was treated in Revenge of the Sith and overall importance for the OT story. I have no information on this.
Watch how like let's maybe get a better look at her face here. Watch her face. She's like half smirking. I have no information on this. Liar!
Her character really deserves it with the way she was treated in Revenge of the Sith and overall importance for the OT story. I have no information on this. No one's ever asked me to return, but I'm open to it.
And that's the biggest thing. Nobody asked her to return. Nobody asked her to return. Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, whoever. Wake up. She wants to come back. She's open to it. She wants to return. Hello? What are we waiting for? Get her back. Get her back to Padme. But let's watch her expression again.
So that's not very helpful. Any chance that Padme Natalie Portman returns to Star Wars? Her character really deserves it with the way she was treated in Revenge of the Sith and overall importance for the OT story. I have no information.
I have no information. Liar! 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 See, that's the thing with these actors. They can just lie out their teeth, and we don't know. We don't know. Andrew Garfield, Lars Mikkelsen for a recent Star Wars one, literally a week before Celebration was saying, they never called me to play Thrawn. They never asked me to play Thrawn. Blah, 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 blah. Then a week later, he walks out on stage and he's freaking Thrawn. So you never know with these Hollywood stuff. I do hope we see Natalie Portman in some type of World Between Worlds, flashback. Obviously, she's not alive. They're not bringing her back to life. They're not. It's not happening. It's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying. But it is possible that we could see her via World Between Worlds or flashbacks, which is great. Again, I think it was a huge missed opportunity when they had Obi-Wan versus Anakin, not mentioning Padme, which is pretty much the reason Anakin chose the dark side, because he wanted to be able to save her. She was never mentioned. She was never even mentioned. So hopefully. What the heck? Okay, we're good. Okay. Hopefully we see Padme again. But what do you guys think? Do you think we'll see Padme Amidala back in Star Wars? Whether or not it's in an Obi-Wan Season 2, whether or not it's in Ahsoka, whether or not it's in some other project, via flashback, via World Between Worlds, do you think it's possible that Natalie Portman comes back to play Padme Amidala? Yes or no? What do we think? Swagger Like Us says, one thing I love about Lucas is his casting. That's so true. George Lucas is so good at casting people. Like, think about the original trilogy. Harrison Ford was a nobody. Mark Hamill was a nobody. Carrie Fisher was a nobody. That's your three main characters. He just picked out of nobody. Nobody land. Nobodies. The prequel trilogy comes around. Hayden Christensen, a nobody. Ewan McGregor was in like one big movie before, but not even that big. Almost a nobody. Natalie Portman was like 16 years old, 14 years, whatever she was. 16, 18, whatever, however old she was. A nobody. He picks up all these nobody actors and actresses and makes them superstars. The casting is perfection when it comes to Star Wars. Original trilogy, prequel trilogy, and even you got to argue that although Disney has done some pretty garbage stuff, the sequels cast is amazing. Adam Driver, couldn't think of his name for a second there. Adam Driver as Kylo Ren is perfection. Even Daisy Ridley as Rey is great. John Boyega as Finn is fantastic. Even Oscar Isaac, Poe Dameron, come on. Come on. Billy D. Williams, exactly. Perfect for Lando. Exactly. Honey Badger says, yes, in Ahsoka, we could see Padme is what he's talking about. She will have to be if Ahsoka is taking Obi-Wan's place on Mustafar. Exactly. She has to be there. Padme has to be in the Ahsoka show if the rumors are true that we're going into the World Between Worlds and we're going to Mustafar. If those rumors are true, Padme has to be in the show. Has to be. Has to be. Yeah. Honey Badger says, Childish Gambino is the perfect Lando he's the perfect Lando too, even though he's more famous than the other actors and actresses in the new era. Well, that's true too. They did, oh my God, yes, Swagger, I completely forgot. Ian McDiarmid, Palpatine himself, was a nobody, and now he's the most famous villain of all time, other than Vader, but of course Vader's a guy in a mask. So Palpatine. But yes, Childish Gambino. Childish Gambino is a good Lando, but they do use some famous actors and actresses in Star Wars. Alec Guinness was a gigantic Academy Award-winning actor. He was enormous. So the fact that he even took the role in this small movie that they didn't even think was going to do well was crazy, but they do sometimes get those some people that'll come in and be a difference maker, you know? Tamara Morrison, exactly. How could you even forget about Boba? Well, he didn't play Boba in the original trilogy, but he did get cast as Jango Fett in the other clones in the prequels. So yeah, Tamara Morrison as well, exactly. But yeah, you do have some famouser people. Famouser is a word, look it up. Like the guy who voices Snoke, Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis is pretty big. Alec Guinness was pretty big. Of course, Samuel L. Jackson was huge in the prequels as Mace Windu. Even Liam Neeson was pretty big, but he's only Qui-Gon for one movie. You do have some, it's a mix of big and small. Honey Badger says he's Boba, Jango, he's Rex, he's in Cody, he's all the clones. It's true, he is all the clones. It will be cool to see a live action Rex, and I hope we do in the Ahsoka show, but it'll be cool just to see Tamara Morrison and how they pull that off, because he has to look like Rex. Like immediately when you see him, you're like, that's Rex. And obviously the armor will be a clear sign, just the white and blue of the 501st, but yeah, definitely. All right, we're going to get on out of here. We've covered all of our bases. We talked about the Fan Expo, we talked about Kenobi, we talked about Skeleton Crew, we talked about Padme, we talked about Axe Wolves, we talked about it all. So, thank you guys. Oh, yeah, Christopher Lee as Count Dooku. Yeah, Christopher Lee was an enormous actor. John Boyega hopefully comes back to play Jedi Finn, and that drives me to go see the Rey movie. Yes, me as well. I hope so. But I'm going to get on out of here. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. Hopefully, and I really, really hope so, that by the end of this summer, that's my dream at least, that we will be doing giveaways for the Ahsoka show, but definitely by this time next year. By my birthday next year, we got to be doing some giveaways for my birthday, because you got to give back to the community, and I want to give back to you guys so badly. We just don't have the ability to yet. We are over halfway there to that monetization level. We are almost there. We're almost there, ladies and gentlemen. We're not almost there, but we're getting there. We're almost there. So yeah. So don't forget to watch all the videos so we can get those watch hours up, so we can start doing those giveaways, start doing those fun other cool things on these streams, and have some fun with the community that is constantly growing and having more and more people contributing to the conversation. You guys are the absolute best for hanging out. Logan, shout out to Logan. Shout out to Swagger Like Us. Shout out to Honey Badger. Shout out to Jonathan. Shout out to who else was here? Shit, I don't want to forget any of you guys. Freak Zeke, of course. Freak Zeke, of course. Nico, shout out to Nico. Haven't seen him in a while. Jonathan, I already said. Blah blah blah. Shout out to all you guys. Thank you guys for sticking around. You guys are the absolute best. We're a little bit over halfway there, Freak Zeke. We're at like 2,200. We're almost in 4,000 is the number we got to get to. So we are getting there. You guys are the absolute best. Logan says, thanks, another great day to be a Star Wars fan. It's always a great day to be a Star Wars fan, and yes, it's always a great day to be a Star Wars fan. Rose Tico, exactly, Swagger, yeah, we don't talk about that, but, alright. Smash a gosh darn like on this video, hit subscribe, and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video, and my pretty face will show up in the recommended feed of yours. Okay, let's see where that poll ended. 82, whoa, what the heck? Why is this, don't do that. Okay, let's fix that real quick. Let's see where this poll ended. 82% of you, I think 82, is it 82? 81% of you said, yes, you want to see Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2, which is a gigantic percentage of you, which is very surprising to me, actually. I might have to actually start a poll on the community tab for this, because I was very surprised by this. But yeah, a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. But thank you guys so much for sticking around this stream. Thank you for all the birthday wishes and all that other stuff. Austin, sorry we're getting on out of here, buddy. What's up, Austin? We've missed you. If they ever do a season 2 of the Kenobi show, exactly. All right. Have a great rest of your evening. Have a great rest of your life. Oh wait, no, I don't say that right now. Hit that subscribe. Blah 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 blah. And may the force be with you. Always, 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 always. Missed my chat. You have what, Honey Badger? I did the Ray one. I mean the John Boyega one. I thought I said that. Honey Badger says John Boyega hopefully comes back as Jedi Finn, and that will drive me to go see the Ray movie. Yeah, me too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you for sticking around. Shout out to Austin for showing up late. No, just kidding. Much love, Austin. Have a great rest of your evenings. Have a great rest of your lives. And good night, everybody.